Let's start our national forecast off with a look in Newfoundland, some lightning flashing, stormy weather. That is something we have seen in spades across the country. Let's recap more. Of course, a tragic situation in Nova Scotia where a teenager actually lost their life due to some of that overland flooding that we have with all this moisture. Now, this rain you're seeing right here, that's the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, and it moved through parts of eastern Canada, closing a highway here in Montreal, and of course in Ontario, we saw quite a bit of impact from all of that rain as well as it moved through on Wednesday. But here's a look, Burlington, some of that rainfall that we've had. Now, of course, it's making for some pretty fascinating visuals. Now, not related to the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, but in the prairies, some stormy weather as well. Take a look at the hailstones, a generally stormy scene here and maybe parts of the prairies. More storms for today. We'll talk about that. And the hot and dry weather in British Columbia, that's dovetailing into our big storyline today. Mounting wildfire concerns and wildfire smoke. And will it be coming to a theater near you? We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's unpack things here on Weather AM. It is Saturday, July 13th. And as we look at this July weekend, we are certainly feeling like it's summertime. Take a look at some of the humidex values across eastern Canada for today. Now we're going to be in Ottawa feeling like 35, for Toronto 28 feeling like 34, but look at the humidex values in Atlantic Canada. That's where they are perhaps most dramatic. For Halifax, 28 degrees today, feeling like 38, and for Charlottetown feeling like 36. So some sweltering heat and humidity for much of eastern Canada, but for the Atlantic region in particular, and that maybe is going to fuel the risk of some thunderstorm activity for today. You see parts of Quebec, including Quebec City, maybe seeing that severe weather possible today, and along with parts of southwestern New Brunswick, but otherwise everywhere else in yellow, chance of some non-severe thunderstorms for today. Here's a look at what's moving through Atlantic Canada, so we could see those storms popping up into this afternoon, but look at some of that late evening and overnight activity for parts of Nova Scotia and into our Sunday, maybe some lingering stormy energy for some in the region. But we talked about some of the humidex values. Let's look ahead into tomorrow. As you can see, we are still really going through it in the Maritimes, but a little bit of relief for Newfoundland as a cold front moving through, kind of dropping temperatures for the conclusion of our weekend. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for Fredericton. Some relief as we look deep into next week, but look at some of these humidex values over the next few days. So you have to kind of get comfortable with the uncomfortable as that humidity really sticking around. We have a thunderstorm risk in parts of northwestern Ontario today, and this is already underway early on our Saturday morning as we have some severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of Manitoba. Ultimately into the afternoon, we see this impressive line of storms moving through parts of northwestern Ontario, and then we could see yet more activity as we look into our Sunday afternoon and evening. So quite active in this part of the country now. In more southern parts of Ontario and southern Quebec, take a look at what's arriving. After a beautiful Saturday, into Sunday, we have that stormy weather pushing through just ahead of that cold front. So that could be maybe not the nicest conclusion to the weekend, but here's a look at this afternoon. Lots of sunshine. This is really that great day to get outside and enjoy the weather because it might look a little bit different into our Sunday. Here's this afternoon, some of that stormy weather we may expect for parts of southern Quebec under all that heat and humidity. Speaking of heat and humidity, that's going to continue for Toronto over the next couple of days before some relief as we get actually below seasonal with our temperatures in the forecast come Thursday, Friday, and a similar temperature pattern on tap for Montreal. Now, turning our attention to Western Canada, here's a look at what we have on tap for today in terms of temperatures and a big story with the thunderstorm threat for today in parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan.